Some of the days that I could not get out of bed, I just realized that it is what it is, and you try again tomorrow. Try not to beat yourself up on it. Try not to stay in it.
In the teaser, it seems like some of the women are concerned about your drinking. Was that ever a concern for you?
Well, look, I've been very open and honest. I mixed alcohol and antidepressants, which is, I didn't know that it would make you this drunk, and it did. And I do not have a problem, and lesson learned, and we go on. So yeah, I mean, are you going to see a moment that, your peer would probably be like, is that Erika? And the answer is yeah. I mean, that was me.
Right. I mean, is that kind of, everybody copes with things differently. I mean, what were kind of your coping mechanisms, or what are your coping mechanisms that going through this, of what you're going through?
At that time, it was really difficult because there were moments that I didn't want to get out of bed, more than moments. There were days, and you have to do that. And let's be honest, you're sitting at these parties and some of these women are kind of boring. So you have a drink. And then you have another drink, and then you're like, where am I? So, it's not that I was drinking a lot. It's just that I was drinking while being medicated. So, there you go. But I want to say this because I don't feel embarrassed by that. Some of my behavior was not great, but it's also very real. It's also part of life. And I wouldn't be the first person that this happened to, and won't be the last.
What kind of, I don't know if you want to, or what kind of misconceptions do you hope to clear up at the end of the season? Are there any misconceptions that you want to clear up about yourself?
I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there, but I'll be honest, I just was trying to stay in the moment and trying to handle everything as it came, overwhelmed a lot, under pressure, and sometimes just frustrated. A lot of times frustrated.
Yeah. How are you feeling kind of going into the season? Obviously, last season was very emotionally draining. So what was your mindset going into this season?
My mindset was like survival, like it was the season before. Sure. Look, okay, so the season before was a real fallout. This season is really trying to pull yourself together and go on. And it was tough, but ultimately I'll get there. And it's part of the human experience. I mean, you can't go through what I have gone through the previous season and not feel something, and not feel great, and not, want to have a good time. I wanted to have some fun. I wanted to not feel so heavy. And that's what I did.
Was there any point coming off of that reunion where you were just like, I don't want to do this anymore? Like, this was really, like I said, emotionally draining. I put so much of myself out there. Maybe I just want to take a step back.
No. Because then I would be quitting and giving everyone what they wanted. And I was not going to do that. I was going to persevere. I signed a contract. I showed up. I, said everything that I possibly could. Some people are listening. Some people are not. Some people refuse to accept what I'm saying. And that's okay. This season as well. Now, was it ponies and rainbows? No. Do you come home emotionally exhausted? Yes. But if I give up, what does that say?
No, you have said in interviews that this was the darkest and most challenging time of your life. And I don't know if it still is, if you're still kind of really in the thick of it, but how have you gotten through it? And, what were those days like when you just couldn't get out of bed?
Well, I, for my mental health, I see a psychiatrist, and I'm very thankful that I was, taken care of and, sought help. And, I also really believe in talking and having good people around you. Some of the days that I could not get out of bed, I just realized that it is what it is, and you try again tomorrow. Try not to beat yourself up on it. Try not to stay in it. But if I didn't take that time, I couldn't imagine someone going through what I went through and not having those days, not having bad days, and not having days where it's like, what am I doing?
And then you have to deal with the fact that it's all unfolding and cameras are following you all around, which I'm sure had to add on a whole nother layer of stress.
But not only were cameras following me around, cameras were right outside this door. There was paparazzi was here a lot too. So, I think one of the darkest times was when I was in the stairwell at CVS, and I just, they kept asking me about stuff. And I just thought, you know what, I really just want to break down and cry right here. But if I do that, then they've won.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, is there ever anything that you regret about sharing, not sharing about Tom, the whole legal situation? Is there anything that you kind of regret about it?
I don't regret much in life. I think sometimes that the way I deliver things sometimes are misunderstood. I tried very hard for a long time to be as calm and take the high road. And when you are consistently not being heard or just whatever, then I just start raising my voice. And I think sometimes people misunderstand that.